What does power mean to you? Maybe you imagine someone with unlimited money. Or perhaps someone who leads crowds, influences decisions, controls destinies. But what if I told you that the greatest power of all can't be bought, inherited, or given by anyone? Imagine an emperor, the most powerful man in the world at his time. He ruled Rome, commanded armies, and had access to wealth most could never dream of. He had everything, and yet every night he wrote the same reminder to himself. You have power over your mind, not over what happens outside. That man was Marcus Aurelius, and while his empire burned with wars, betrayals, and plagues, he understood something that most people never will. True power is not about controlling the world. It's about not being controlled by it. Now pause for a moment and look around. You may not be ruling an empire, but your surroundings are still a battlefield. The pressure to please, the need to show results, the endless comparisons on social media, the expectations others throw on you like it's your duty to carry them. You feel like you need to be strong all the time, but inside maybe you feel broken, insecure, exhausted. And here's the brutal truth. While you're trying to control everything on the outside, what's really destroying you is on the inside. But what if there were a way to flip the script? What if you could train the one thing no one can take from you? Your own mind? That's exactly what Marcus Aurelius did. And you can too. Have you ever heard of Zeno of Citium? Few people know the name, but he started it all. Zeno wasn't born a philosopher. He was a merchant, until a shipwreck took everything from him. He lost the ship, the cargo, the future he had planned. But it was in that ruin that he found something no ship could carry, a new way of living. Wandering aimlessly, Zeno entered a bookstore in Athens. There, he discovered the teachings of Socrates, and something clicked. He realized that true strength doesn't come from what you have, but from what you can endure and overcome. That's how Stoicism was born, right there under the painted columns of the Stoa Poikile, where Zeno began to teach that a person is only truly free when they learn to govern themselves. Centuries later, Epictetus would become the most radical example of this philosophy. Born a slave, he didn't even have control over his own body, but he never lost control over what he thought, felt, and chose. Seneca, a powerful politician surrounded by plots and enemies, used philosophy to live in balance between wealth and simplicity. And Marcus Aurelius, standing at the top of the world, proved that not even a throne can save you if you can't govern your own mind. These men lived in different eras, under different circumstances, but they all discovered the same truth. The power you're looking for has never been out there. What makes someone truly strong? Is it appearance? Intelligence? The ability to persuade? The Stoics would say none of that matters. If you don't have 4 virtues within you, keycap 1 wisdom, the ability to clearly see what is within your control and what is not. Why are you so frustrated? Because you try to control things that were never yours to control. Other people's opinions, the future, the past. Wisdom begins when you stop fighting the wind and start steering in the right direction. Keycap 2 courage. Not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite fear. The courage to speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable. The courage to do the right thing even when it's hard. The courage to keep going even when all seems lost. Keycap 3 justice. Treating every person with dignity even when they don't seem to deserve it. Because in the end, how you treat others says more about who you are, not who they are. Keycap 4 temperance. The art of not overdoing it. Not being led by impulse, anger, or short-term pleasure. Temperance is the mastery of excess. It's knowing when to stop, when everyone else is going too far. These are the 4 pieces of armor of a Stoic. But the Stoic also carries a powerful tool, the dichotomy of control. It divides the world in 2. What you can control and what you can't. Can you control your actions? Yes. Your thoughts? Yes. What others do? Never. What tomorrow brings? Absolutely not. And the most challenging of all, Amor Fati, love your fate. Not just accepting what happens, but looking at every difficulty and saying, this came to strengthen me. It's not easy. It's not comfortable. But it's how you stop being a victim of life and start walking with it as a partner of what happens. You don't need to wait for a tragedy to start training your mind. The real battlefield is in the little things you face every day. You wake up late. Traffic is a nightmare. A client cancels. Someone throws a bitter comment your way. Your phone buzzes again with another demand. You feel your blood boil, your chest tighten, the urge to snap or give up. And right there is the first practical lesson of Stoicism. Don't react on autopilot. Epictetus said that the first thing you should do in any situation is pause. Between what happens and how you respond, there is a space. That space is where your power lives. You don't have to explode. You don't have to prove anything. You can breathe and choose. Choose the response a wise person would give, not the one your impulses would. But the mind alone can't withstand this pressure forever. That's why the Stoics practiced philosophical minimalism. They didn't let themselves accumulate emotional clutter, unrealistic expectations, or invented needs. Think about it. How many things do you believe you need today when in reality they only make you more anxious? The phone you can't put down. The recognition that never comes. The fear of looking like less than what you show on social media. The more you cling to these things, the more you become a prisoner of them. And what Stoicism teaches is harsh, but freeing. You are only truly free from what you can live without. That's why letting go of what's not essential is the first step to gaining what truly matters. Person in lotus position, peace of mind. Direct hit, clarity of purpose. Flex biceps, inner strength. And believe me, when you start winning the small daily battles, you become strong enough to face any storm life throws at you. Have you ever felt like you're always falling short, even when you give your best? You give your all at work, bend over backward to meet expectations, try to impress, try to be seen, but at the end of the day it still feels like it's not enough. This feeling of running an endless race is one of the biggest causes of suffering in our generation. And Stoicism comes in like a sharp break on that trap. Marcus Aurelius once wrote something you should carry with you for life. Don't expect others to recognize your virtue. Just act with it. You don't control recognition, but you do control the quality of your work. You control the effort you put into every task. You control your ethics, your presence, your dedication. When you stop chasing validation, you start working with freedom. You do it because it's right, not because you want applause. And this doesn't apply only to work. In relationships, the Stoic understands that other people are not an extension of your desires. You don't control their flaws, fears, or limitations. You control only one thing: how you choose to treat them. Justice isn't about what others deserve. It's about who you choose to be, regardless of what others do. And when you start to see life this way, something powerful happens. Anxiety loses its grip. You know why? Because you stop trying to control tomorrow and start focusing on now. You stop trying to control what others feel and start focusing on how you act. You live less in expectation and more in action. Stoicism doesn't promise a world without pressure, but it gives you the tools to turn that pressure into purpose. Let me ask you a direct question. Have you ever gone through something that felt like it shattered you from the inside? The loss of someone, a betrayal, a failure so deep you thought you'd never recover? Now tell me, what hurt more? What happened, or what you kept repeating in your mind for days, weeks, or even years after? The Stoics called that unnecessary suffering. Physical pain, loss, rejection. Those happen to everyone. But the difference between those who fall and those who rise lies in what they do after it happens. Epictetus said, "It's not the events that hurt you, it's the judgment you place on them." You don't control the event, but you do control how you interpret it. That's true freedom. Not living without problems, but being free to respond to problems in a way that strengthens you, not destroys you. And there's more. The Stoics never told you to become a stone. They never said to fake that you feel nothing. They knew emotions are natural. Fear, anger, sadness, they're part of the human experience. But the secret is not letting those emotions run your life. Feel what you need to feel. Acknowledge the pain. But then, take back the reins. Lead your emotions with reason. Ask yourself, what would a wise person do right now, even while feeling this? Because growing doesn't mean feeling nothing. It means feeling everything, and still choosing the best response. You know what the biggest mistake people make when trying to change is? Believing some big transformation will just happen, like magic. But Stoicism teaches the exact opposite. You don't become strong all at once. You become strong one day at a time with small but consistent practices. One of the most powerful. Stoic journaling. Not writing to complain about how hard your day was. Not listing unsolvable problems. But writing like an emperor would. Marcus Aurelius did this every night. He would ask himself, what did I do today that brought me closer to virtue? What took me further from it? What can I do better tomorrow? Try it. Grab a notebook. Write with brutal honesty. Not to post. Not for others to see. For yourself. To see who you really are. Another Stoic practice is negative visualization. Close your eyes for a few minutes and imagine losing what you value most. Your home. Your health. The people you love. It may sound heavy, but it's not an exercise in pain. It's an exercise in preparation and gratitude. Because when you face the possibility of loss, you start realizing how much you already have. How much you're already living something valuable, right here, right now. And to complete this daily training, the Stoics carried one constant reminder: Memento Mori. Remember that you will die. Not as a threat, but as an urgent reminder. Because you don't know how much time you have left. You don't know if you'll wake up tomorrow. You don't know if you'll get another chance to do what needs to be done. Living with Memento Mori is living with courage. It's stopping the habit of postponing what matters. It's looking at today as if it were your only day. Now imagine starting life as a slave. No rights, no voice, not even control over your own body. That was Epictetus' fate. And yet, he became one of the greatest masters of inner freedom the world has ever known. The secret? He realized that while others could control his body, he controlled what he thought, felt, and believed. Epictetus was chained on the outside, but never on the inside. Seneca, on the other hand, lived at the heart of Rome's elite, surrounded by luxury, influence, and power, but also surrounded by intrigue, betrayal, and constant threats. He could have been consumed by ambition and fear, but instead he chose to use everything he had, his wealth, time, and intellect, in service of philosophy. Seneca proved that you can be surrounded by excess, and still live with moderation and purpose. And then there's Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth. He commanded legions, decided the fate of nations, and faced wars and epidemics. And yet, every night he wrote to himself, to remember that he was just a man trying to do what was right, one day at a time. These stories didn't die in the past. Today, Olympic athletes train their focus using Stoic principles. Business leaders use journaling to stay clear-minded amid chaos. Soldiers apply negative visualization to handle extreme situations. And ordinary people like you and me are discovering that Stoicism isn't theory, it's living practice. You can become mentally unbreakable if you choose to train. But not everything that looks like strength really is. And Stoicism, if misunderstood, can become the exact opposite of what it's meant to be. Maybe you've seen this, or even done it yourself without realizing. You begin learning this powerful philosophy, and suddenly you start saying things like, I won't care about anything. Nothing affects me. I don't feel anything. And for a while, it feels like it's working. You feel less vulnerable, less affected, less exposed. But in reality, you're just shutting down. The Stoics never told you to turn off your emotions or become cold and indifferent. They said, feel everything, but be enslaved by nothing. Ignoring your feelings is not Stoicism. It's avoidance. Another common mistake is using Stoicism as an excuse for being distant, harsh, or emotionally unavailable. You start saying, I'm a Stoic, I don't care. I don't care about what you feel. But a true Stoic does care. He acts with justice, empathy, and courage, even when it's uncomfortable. Stoicism isn't about building a wall between you and the world. It's about standing tall in the middle of chaos, with an open heart, living with awareness and responsibility, not hiding behind nice quotes to avoid what you still need to face. Up to now, you've heard the stories, learned the concepts, and discovered the practices. But none of it matters unless you put it into motion. So now, I want to invite you to 3 Stoic challenges. 3 simple tests. But they'll show you exactly how much you truly govern your mind. Keycap 1: the silence challenge. Try to go one full day without complaining about anything. No grumbling about traffic. No blaming others. No phrases like, I can't take this anymore. Nothing ever works out for me. No one understands me. Fair warning, you'll notice how deeply conditioned your mind is to complain. But if you can hold back, breathe, and observe in silence, you'll start to feel a rare kind of power. The power of not being ruled by the impulse to react. Keycap 2: the detachment challenge. Choose something you feel you can't live without. Your phone, social media, coffee, your favorite show, anything. Now, go 24 hours without it. It might seem small, but when you do it, you prove to yourself, you don't need these things to live in peace. You're stronger than you think. Keycap 3: the forgiveness challenge. Yes, that one you've been putting off for a long time. That person who hurt you, who disappointed you. You don't have to talk to them. You don't even have to reach out. But today, inside yourself, let it go. Not for them, for you. Because as long as you carry that weight, you're not free. These challenges aren't theory. They're real invitations to feel in your own skin what it means to live like a true Stoic. Start today. You already know what needs to be done. You've understood the principles. You've heard the stories. You've pictured what's possible. But let me remind you of something brutally honest. Understanding doesn't change anything. Living it does. You won't become mentally indestructible just because you watched this video. You won't become stronger just because a story inspired you. You'll only transform if you commit to daily practice. That means training your awareness every morning, reflecting every night, choosing self-control when life pushes you toward impulse, applying what you learned when no one is watching. It means writing about your failures without filters, visualizing your losses without fear, remembering death without running from it. It means waking up tomorrow different than you were today, more attentive, more present, stronger. Because a true Stoic isn't the one who can explain Stoicism. It's the one who lives Stoicism in every small choice, every single day. So now I ask you, if not today, when? Start now.